Good evening, everybody, and welcome back for news. Yay! You're not going to be going yay at the end of it, I tell you. There's quite a lot of news tonight, so I'm going to crack on with it, as they say. As you can see, we're getting a bit more decorations up. And yes, that tree thing is up in the corner. Yep. So the tree is up. Right, anyway, let's crack on with news. So, because I'm sure you'd rather have me telling news than anyone who's just boring away with it. At least I'll give you a chuckle. Right, here's the news for tonight. Okay, first thing, it's all over the world, this different thing. So, it's like a mix of all sorts. So, we'll crack on with boring stuff first of all, and then we'll build up to other exciting news. Right, there's a lot about, some interesting stuff about space and UFOs. The Tories have suddenly realised that they might be facing annihilation in the next time they go to the vote because of all the cock-ups they keep doing. And I've been watching, it's a Wednesday, so I've been watching the Prime Minister's questions. And it's been quite interesting because Sir Keir Starmer was on about inflation, illegal migration, and basically what's happening in the UK today. And he's just dawned on him that illegal migration is a big thing that maybe the public are interested in. We've been saying this for ages. Now, from what I'm led to believe, even our friend in Reform, Tyson, everyone like that, even Mr. Farage, even Nigel's said, "Oh, he suddenly realised, has he, that's he's got to get on board with that. He can't just say nothing about it." Right, so that's that one. Richie Sunak, he got up and he said his piece to that with all the rest of what he said today. So he didn't say anything of interest to the country or any working man whatsoever. He just waffled on. But one thing he did say was that Keir Starmer was he was a scammer and an opportunist. Scammer and an opportunist. I'd like to just point out something. Right, Richie Sunak, you're calling Keir Starmer an opportunist and a scammer. However, he was actually voted into his position. You just came along, jumped in. Not one person has actually voted you as a Prime Minister. Now, that's an opportunist. Yeah, and that's a bit of a scammer. Yeah, so don't start with that one because that's not going to wear with anyone. They're going to pot kettle black. Right. In the US, I'm just going to read through this because it's quite a lot of different things. Right, in America again, another mass shooting. This time it was the manager. I'm led to believe it was the manager of a Walmart. Pulled out his pistol and bang, 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 started shooting people randomly. He's killed 6, from what I can understand. So I'm going to have to turn the pages. That much information. I've had to write it all down for you. Right, so that's that one. People dying. I've got to go on to this. Sorry about that, I'm bleeding from my mouth again. Right, so EU bosses this time. We're no longer part of the EU, although we still have to keep paying them money, and they keep interfering with us. Right, the EU bosses said it should be made a crime to turn your heating on, and you should leave your heating off and die for your values. Absolutely disgusting. 10-1, I'm betting when he goes home after his hard day scamming the money out of the EU, that these guys go home to a nice big house with the heating roaring, sit in their heated pool with the ladies of the night, entertaining themselves at everyone else's expense. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to die for his values. What he means, he wants to rob more money off you. Right. I have a go, don't I? Right, moving on. Back to the UK. There's another poll came in. This time the poll's on how popular people are. The Conservatives are at 26%. They are falling faster than the Titanic at the moment. That's how quick they're sinking. Labour's up 47%. Reform UK, Richard Tice, is going up again. It's up one more point, up 6. That's actually above the Democrats now. at 5%. So they're getting there, and I can see the way it's going, that Richard Tice getting up there well over 26. I'm going to guess after Christmas that it's going to be over Conservative, and Conservative will be down in the dumps, and they'll start strangling each other again, throwing each other into pot. I think another one was arrested the other week. So, yeah, so that's the way that's going. Right, so Richard Tice is doing something right. Obviously, his points are going up. Right, as I've said, I haven't got popular. I probably even might dabble in it. So, if everyone's heard what I do, then fair enough. You know, I'm all for total disclosure. Have a look at things, you know. Because at the moment I think the MPs are just milking the system for every last penny before they get kicked out. Right, anyway. I always like having a go at him, don't I? Right, so, what's this coming in? No, we're okay, we've got nothing coming in. Right, okay, right. Big news, big news. Right. This is about space. Now, those who know, I like space and I follow space things, what's going on. SpaceX sent their ship up there. I'll double this up and get it all in one big lump for you here. Artemis, that went up last week. That's arrived at the moon, I believe. So we're waiting to see what's going to happen with that. I'll do a space one about it, but that's arrived at the moon. And then European again. Right, how is this for an idea? They're planning to actually spend billions and millions, I bet you, again, and build solar space station out in space and then microwave that power down to Earth. Well, what a Richard Head idea that is. Let me tell you exactly what will happen there. If you're going to microwave, what's going to happen is someone's going to use that as a weapon. So anybody who's thinking about that needs to forget it for a start. That's an absolutely stupid idea. Sorry, scientists, but you come up with some absolute humdingers, and that one's a stinker. Right? You're not wasting everyone's taxpayers' money on something like that. If you want a solar farm, put it on the planet Earth, first of all, and stop putting junk into space, thinking that people are just going to keep cashing out for you left, right, and centre. There's people starving on the streets. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself. If you want an idea, work out a cheap way of getting houses for these people who are living on the streets, in doorways. Think of an idea to actually help the people who are coming across on these boats in the first place, the migrants. If you can sort out their problems at home, then start coming up. Then people will probably back you. Another European waste of money, and they'll be looking for billions and billions off government, and nothing will come of it, and it'll be an absolute waste of time again. So send the money up to the moon and build a planet of the moon, a space station. So you can't even beat SpaceX. So don't come up with any ideas. Go and work for them because your ideas are stupid. So, right. Normally I'm all for space things, but that one was the most stupidest thing I've heard for years. So, right. Inflation is so high now. It's been the highest for 45 years or something like that. Pretty much, in reality, this winter's going to be probably the worst Christmas for everyone since World War II, to be quite honest, in the UK anyway. And this is after 10 years of the Tories telling us we've got to knuckle in and we've got to sort ourselves out. Well, it took 10 years, and then you actually managed to. You should have been saving that money and getting us out of the muck. And then mysteriously, in the space of 4 months, you've actually lost all that money that took 10 years for us to actually tighten the belts. We were supposed to be expecting to come into. I don't know what to describe it. I think it's fraud. To be quite honest, that's all I think it is. It's just fraud. You've had 10 years of scraping the money. You've got to think of another way of scraping us for another 10 years. Absolutely disgusting. Right. Right, so I was going to end up. I should have left the space note to end, shouldn't I, really? Right, okay. I have got one for the. Oh, one more bit of news from China came in. The biggest iPhone factory in China they've locked them all in. They've locked all the workers in there. Anyway, so there's been a fist fight. Massive fight with the authorities there. They've broken down the outer pens and everything because they've locked them in. and all troubles broke loose there. So yeah. So that was after tightening the COVID rules because they've had a COVID outbreak. Everyone's trying to break out. So I don't know what's going on there. Oops. Right. And finally, on March the 26th of this year, 3 giant UFOs, or UAPs as we call them, were filmed flying across the moon. Yep, you heard it right. Yep, they've got it on. I've seen the footage. If it's CGI, it's really good because it looks right to me. Anyway, but there's 3 of them flying across the moon, and it's been on major stations. So, yes, no, I don't know. It's your thoughts. You know, it's a big place out there. There's got to be something out there. That's how I've always believed. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the news. And remember, I am forecasting, and I have already said this, so I'm risking it all here, really, that I think we might have one of them white Christmases this year. So, no, I'm not going to start playing White Christmas to you. I'm going to wish you all the best and have a lovely night. Remember, if you want more news like this, at least it's a laugh as I'm going through it. Even with bad news, I'm sorry, I ain't got no good news. So, I'm hoping that me having a laugh at it will help you, cheer you up a little bit. Anyway, have a lovely evening. If you want to see any more, subscribe. There's lots of different things on this channel. From space to nights to all sorts of weird and wonderful things. Look through scrolls. Anyway, have a lovely night. Keep warm. Look after yourself. And remember, like I'm saying all the time now at the moment, if you've got old neighbours, get round there. Make sure they're all right. Make sure that they're warm. And take a tin of soup in a flask and give them something warm. We've got to look after ourselves because government ain't looking after us at all. All right, take it easy. Night-night. Ta-ta.